if you hit record yet, but please do. And Constance Dickerson is her name spelled out here in case you need to contact her. We already did the poll, so we're halfway through. Isn't that great? We're going to do the PowerPoint, and I'll share some next steps with you, and then we'll get to your questions. So before we get too far into this, this is a map of Cleveland Heights, and I want you to see that I believe this is Noble Road, and the library and the school are right here where this yellow square is. And if you would divide our city up into quadrants, this north quadrant is where many, many, many people live. It's almost half of our population in Cleveland Heights. The other branches are in University Heights over here, on Lee Road, and then over by Coventry, which is, where am I? Right over here. So they're more concentrated and closer together, and then Noble comprises a large portion of Cleveland Heights. So we realize that it is a very important branch to us and to you, and so we are willing to work hard to make it even better. Last month, we circulated a survey both online and on paper, and we received 468 responses. And the first thing we looked at is how familiar are you with the Noble branch? And the largest section, 198 people, were very familiar. The orange, the other large section, was sort of familiar, and 98 were not familiar, probably because they mostly use one of the other branches. We took the question, how do you use the branch, or how did you use the branch before COVID? And we found about 4 of the uses were more prominent. Checking out material, 66%, reading and browsing, 47%, using the computer, 24%, and relaxing or spending time someplace other than home was 24%. So those are very common uses of a library, and we're glad to see those. But we hope that when we're all done with this and we do another survey, there will be some added uses of the library that we can also claim to be very high. So we hope to up those uses. We took all of the answers and we calculated how many referred to different elements. So 72% of all of the comments mentioned the need for more space at the Coventry branch. And then distributed almost equally was the need to handle behavior, increase our hours, a bunch of miscellaneous things, and increase programming and increase parking and outdoor space. So we feel very confident that space needs are primary to our future direction, and that we can go forward and plan accordingly. Some of the other specifics of the comments were that we have a great staff, which of course we know and we want you to know. They care very much about their customers and know them well. And most of that staff has been there for a little while, so they have created relationships, and that is terrific. That the library is the heart of the neighborhood, that people would love to have an outdoor space to sit in and enjoy outdoors when the weather is good. Please add more computers. Please have more age-appropriate service areas so that children and adults can be a little separate, and that the noise and commotion can be separate as well. A number of people said that they don't feel like they get enough programs at the Noble branch. And one of the reasons that is so is because they don't have meeting room spaces. So we equate that with the need for meeting rooms. There were a number of comments about the ESL classes and the services that we provide for the refugee community that lives nearby, most of them from Nepal and Bhutan. A few people asked for business support. Quite a few asked for accessibility issues. The stairs and the elevator were not their favorite, and they wished that things weren't so chopped up in the entranceway. And one person asked if we could have a drive-up book drop. So again, we heard the need for separate spaces for early childhood, for school age and teens, as well as adults and computers to be separate, and then more room for ESL and the refugees, and to remember that many of the students in the neighborhood use the library as their primary place to go after school. Some of the more concerning comments we heard were that no one wants to raise their taxes, and we certainly understand that. They don't want to close the branch, so a few people were worried that that was in the plans, which it is not. But they also said, if we're going to renovate, please don't lose the warm and cozy feeling of the branch, which we agree is lovely, and we will try to preserve. Again, one of the more concerning comments was about behavior, and we're very aware that we have quite a few children after school in the building, and that can cause a ruckus. And our plans will certainly try to address that. They would like a quiet space in the library just to sit and read and not have that ruckus. More computers away from the books, more books, and more parking. This is a lovely photo from our local resident photographer. He did a panorama of the building. So if you wrapped this around, you would see what the branch looks like. And of course, the beautiful exterior. This building was designed by Walker and Weeks, an architectural firm that also designed Severance Hall and many buildings in Cleveland. It was built in 1937, and it is beautiful. We love our little crest on the top of the building with the book on it. And a few years back, we did do some renovations to clean up the front and make it look nice. And we're very, very proud of all of that. So we don't want to lose that. I wanted to let people rest assured that we will not be raising taxes to do repairs and renovations on Noble. We have been saving money for about 9 years to be able to do this work. We have been setting it aside in the building and repair fund, and once it goes in, it cannot go out unless it is for a building or a repair. We are also going to be applying for grants, and we even understand that there may be some money for library buildings in a couple of the bills that are coming out of Washington associated with COVID. So we're hoping that's true. And more space will equal more staff, but we are working hard to be very efficient with the use of our staff. So I think we can absorb that as well in our current budget. So no new taxes. We did want to definitely make a shout out to Future Heights and their study of the Noble Neighborhood Corridor. That study was taken just a few years back, and we hold it to heart. It's very important to keep Noble Road vibrant. That we have done some demographic studies, and north of Mayfield, that whole area definitely need more computer access. Many homes do not have Wi-Fi or a computer. The people who live in the neighborhood love having a walkable neighborhood, and it is in our strategic plan and in our founding documents that we are proud of having 4 walkable branches. So we want that to maintain that walkability. We are very interested in the economic development of the Noble neighborhood, and we want to spur that on as much as we can. We're very happily anticipating creating some meeting space or gathering space outdoors as well as indoors. And we're very aware that what we do with our building will help with the placemaking in the Noble corridor. If you're interested in this plan, you can go to this link, or you can go to the Future Heights website, and page 91 is the one that talks about having civic life, a place for people, attractive, enticing, and a vital neighborhood to serve all ages and to spur the meeting, voting, learning, celebrating, and growing aspects of the people in the community. So thank you, Future Heights, for all of that. So that is the end of the presentation part. I will say that we are trying to buy more property in the neighborhood, and we would hope to have some developments available to talk about in the next week or two. The library will keep listening to all of your comments. Please feel free to email Constance, myself, Kim, or send us a note, whatever way you feel comfortable communicating. You can stop by the neighborhood branch or watch our library website for new information. We will update it with each new step in the process. We are going to do some visioning with the community, and we hope that at least part of that will be in person as long as COVID cooperates with us. Once the weather gets nice, we can even do some things outside. And we want to show you some ideas and let you know what we're thinking as we go along and give you many opportunities to have input in our plans. So now is the time for questions. If you would like to go to the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and I will be happy to answer them. And there's my email address.
So like Nancy said, you can go ahead and type in that. And Nancy, if you want to stop screen sharing.
Okay.
And then we can see there we go. And I think 2 people already put a question in the chat, and I'll go ahead and read those. Let's see. Whoops.
This one says, what property are you negotiating for? I cannot answer
there we
that
go.
question. I can't answer that question until we have some answers from the person we're trying to buy it from, people we're trying to buy it from, and I will share that as soon as I have the green light. So soon. What is the primary focus during this renovation? It is to add more space to the branch so that it can serve the same purpose as the University Heights branch, the Coventry branch, and the Lee Road branch. We have no meeting room space, and we know that that is very necessary. We have spoken to the people at different community organizations, and they wished we had more meeting room space. We cannot have this kind of programming that we wish we could have without meeting rooms. And we want to be a civic hub. So like right now, we can't have voting at the Noble branch because there's no place to do it. And when we want to do ESL classes, we only have a very tiny room to conduct those, and it would be too crowded. And we wish to have opportunities for children, and they should be able to do crafts and participate in programs. And again, no meeting rooms. So that is one of the main objectives. The other, I think, would be to expand the computer area and to provide classes in computer skills at that branch, especially since demographically we've seen that there are less opportunities in the neighborhood. And we certainly want to be available in a walkable way. Rose says we want more activities for the kids after school. Yes, we do. All of us do. Tony says, I love everything you have to say about increasing the role of the library in my neighborhood. My main concern is that we would lose the beautiful building. What are some ways you are thinking of combining this building with new property? Well, Tony, if everything goes well, I will be able to discuss that in a greater detail in about a week. And I will say that we absolutely want to keep the character of the library, and we believe that our plans will allow us to do that. And we are doing another public meeting on March 22nd, and I can hopefully be much more forthcoming at that meeting. But we had so many people signing up, we wanted to have 2 opportunities. So our timing didn't work out quite well enough to be able to talk about that tonight. Could you please send the link for the following updates? It will be on the heightslibrary.org website, and there will be a page that is just for Noble renovations, and you just need to search on the page for that, and we will also put up a slide, so you'll see it when you go to the homepage for Heights Library.
And Nancy, real quick, I'm going to try to get something up on the website sometime this week, including sharing the PowerPoint and any information we have. Or that was Cheryl.
If land cannot be obtained reasonably, are there any other options on the table? Andre, yes, we have a couple of options that we're exploring. And again, I think we have two at least really viable options that have different pros and cons. And we will be able to discuss that very, very soon. We are looking at all possible options. Margaret says, thank you for recognizing the architectural importance of the building. As a Noble resident, this building is a sense of pride and place for me. Absolutely, I agree with you. As someone who has presented in the Noble Library, I recognize the need for more space. It is my hope that there was a solution that maintains the historical facade of the building. Yes. Would we consider having it landmarked as part of the renovation? I don't know yet, Margaret. That having it landmarked is a blessing and a curse. And we would have to probably look at what the impact of having it landmarked would be. Because I understand that once you do that, you can't make any changes. And I want to make sure that we have options available for the library. But we do absolutely recognize the architectural beauty of the building. What is the ratio of white to non-white users? I have no idea. We welcome everyone in our building, and I would say that we reflect absolutely the diversity of the neighborhood. And I think the neighborhood is very diverse, so I would just say that we reflect the use of the residents of the neighborhood. Would services continue during renovation? Tony, that's a great question. We hope so. We are very interested in ways that we can phase our buildings so that we don't have to close. It really depends on how much we need to get into the current spaces. And we have recognized that this is a concern, and we will try to accommodate some sort of a temporary space if we can, if we need to close the building. Do we know the future of Noble Elementary School, and how might this affect the library? We do not know the future of Noble Elementary School, and we are committed to our location on that corner, and we will be staying there. So hopefully so will the elementary school. And if not, we would certainly recognize that the school district could make other plans. We hope that they will reuse the building in a constructive way. Denise Miller says, I agree, all good ideas, but sounds more like an extension of the library for teaching, etc. So maybe a separate building to keep the integrity of our beautiful library. Possibly, I don't know yet. 4 lasers to check out materials. I think this person is discussing the self-check machines, and if you have a specific request, we can certainly address that in the branch. A demographic question was in the interest of meeting all people's needs and interests, programs and collections. Karen, we are very aware of our demographics in the branch, and if you speak to Constance, you will see that many of the programs that they are able to do, usually performances, are very diverse, as are the neighbors. So we have hosted historic events, we have hosted jazz, we have hosted events for the Bhutanese community, for the Noble neighbors. We have had food pantry and lunches. We have had all sorts of things there. So I think with more space, we can just be more diverse and have more collection and more programs. The blind spot when using the rear entrance and exit. Yes, we are very aware of that. And when someone walks out, it is possible to be in a hurry and walk right into traffic. And we will do something about that when we can reconfigure. But thank you for bringing that up. That is a concern.
Nancy, there's one question that didn't get put in the Q&A.
Sure.
And it is, what more can the community do to support the library's plan?
Oh, I love that question.
That's why I didn't want to miss it.
We will be having, again, more public discussions, and the more input we receive from you, the more carefully and specifically we can plan the building. I do hope that we will bring someone on board to help us facilitate these conversations. That is our plan, to work with a planner or an architect to talk to people about what they want specifically, share some ideas, and have people help us decide how much space should be used for different activities. And then we can actually decide how much room we need and start thinking about a building. So please stay with us and participate in all of our sessions, and that would be a great way to help us. Of course, if someone would like to leave us a few $1 million, that would be okay too.
And there's one more, I'm sorry. This one was sort of answered, but it's a little different. Again, from the chat window, it says, are there any plans to leave the current building? And if so, what would happen to the current building?
Currently, there are no plans to leave the current building. And since there are no plans, I don't know what would happen. It is a beautiful building. We're very happy to be there. So we are going to try to stay there. Oh, we got one more question, I think. The rear entrance exit inside the building. Oh, it is a little wonky the way you enter, and you could take that corner going toward the hallway and not see someone coming at you either. So again, I think we would like to straighten out the exit and entrances and improve upon them with any renovation we would make. I hope I've made you curious about what will happen, and I hope you will pay attention as we hope to be able to know what's gonna, at least one of our steps in the next week or so. I also hope, I can't tell if there are any city people on this call, but I did speak a little bit about our plans to City Council last week. I have reached out to many other neighbors and school people to let them know that we're thinking about improving the building. And I hope that we can get some cooperation with all the schools, the city, the library, and really in our planning, improve the streetscape that leads from the school to the library to the church, and make a nice place to be outside as well. When we renovated the building in 2011, we said that we wanted to make the library the City Hall of Noble. We think we've been successful in that. We really made the building shine, and I hope that will give you some confidence that we will not let you down and create a beautiful and useful building when we finish our plans. Any other questions? Oh, wait. Deanna Bremer Fisher says, can't wait to hear more about your investment in Noble Road. Thanks for the shout out for the Noble Road corridor plan. If anyone has not read it, I highly encourage you to do so. There is so much that can happen between Mayfield Road and Euclid Avenue. I think that neighborhood is just ripe for all sorts of investment by businesses and by the community. And I hope that we will just be among the first. To confirm, you are considering several options, right? Including building a separate building to accommodate the needs of this community, right? Thank you for your time. We are currently considering 2 options, and we're going for our preferable one first, and then if that doesn't work out, we have a plan B. So we will see what happens, but no matter what, we believe that we will be able to provide more space for the community in use of the building. That's all the questions we have right now. That was quick.
Nancy, this is Cheryl again. Everybody, I am putting a direct link to the Noble Corridor project in the chat here. If I can stop fumbling around with my fingers and type. There we go. So if you want to, at some point, click on that, save it, so you can take a look at it. And thanks, Deanna.
I will say that one aspect of the building will be to improve the outdoor space as well. And I think that we may need partners to help us with gardening and perhaps building some outdoor amenities. So I think there will be some opportunities for volunteering when we get that far. So please keep us in mind. We have visited the garden in Noble. Steve Sanders and Constance are very aware of what's going on there. And we are friends with Tom Gibson. He's talked to me a number of times about greening the neighborhood, and that is definitely one of our goals. Okay, if that's all you need from me tonight, then I thank you so much for joining us, and look for some announcements, and also look on our website, and we will continue to update it as we go. And we will definitely be having more conversations in the next couple of months, and we will invite you to join us at that time. Thanks, Cheryl, for helping us with the tech, and thanks everyone for joining us tonight.
Okay, and if that's it, yeah, I'd just like to echo Nancy's thanks. And again, just sometime in the next day or two, we will have a special Noble renovation page up and running. So make sure you check that, and I'll try to make sure that it links off the homepage somewhere, somewhere easy to find. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, be well, everyone. Stay safe.